Okay, so if you have found yourself here at this video, it is most likely because you have been watching some videos and it has led you to the concept of how to jump timelines or how to shift a reality. And I thought I could contribute to this topic, hopefully simplistically, and in a very short amount of time. The first thing I like to say in regards to this, though, is don't overthink this. We are all designed to do this. In fact, you have been doing this anyway. We all have. We just weren't necessarily aware that that's what we've been doing, is aligning with a particular narrative, aligning with a particular timeline. But now that you're aware that it can be done, because we're all wired to do it anyway, now you can consciously choose which narrative you want to align with, which will give you potentially a completely different outcome than the current experience that you're having. With shifting a timeline, it is just law of attraction. Don't overthink this. Law of attraction are 3 basic steps. 1, imagine what you desire. 2, act as if you already have what you're seeking. And 3, stay there. That's it. So rather than using law of attraction for a new car or a new lover or a new house, you're aligning it with the idea of a new reality. That's where you want to go. The other thing that's important to remember is that what you think is the ideal reality and what I think is the ideal reality may not be the same thing. This is not about talking anyone else into what you think has to happen. This is not about converting anyone. This is not about making things happen outside of yourself. Shifting to a new timeline means you shift. And the rest of it all just falls into place. Resources and people to support where you want to go will be brought into your reality, into your timeline. So don't get too hung up on all that. It is very possible that you can be surfing along up here in your reality and I'm surfing along down here in my reality, and we are just both as content as can be. And because we are not on the same page as to what the ideal reality is, we don't ever resonate. We'll never meet. But that's all right, because each one of us have the right to experience what it is that we need to experience to learn. The whole purpose of this whole experience is to learn to be responsible creators. And we get to experience our desires to help us learn to be responsible creators. Our desires are determined by what we're focusing on, what we put our focus on. That is our vote, so to speak, with the whole system as to what we want. And eventually, we come to the level of awareness that when you're focusing on what you don't want, you're only bringing more of what you don't want to you. So when you're focusing on things that cause you stress, fear, and panic, you bring experiences to you of stress, fear, and panic. At some point, you decide to shift and instead have contentment, joy, and abundance. To align with a new timeline for where you are right now, the first thing you have to do is imagine what your ideal human experience would be like. How would you feel in it? What would be the system set up? Keeping in mind that if you're looking to go to a higher state of consciousness, into a higher realm of existence, most of the structural systems we have in place here, the educational system, the healthcare system, the government system, the financial system, not going to be able to come with you into a higher realm, into a higher state of consciousness, because those are not set up to support the whole. They're set up to support a few. But nonetheless, if you are looking for a tangible, realistic working model of what a more ideal society would look like, you might want to check out the concept of an Ubuntu society. And Michael Tellinger lectures on this, and he can explain it far better than I can. He has helped to establish several moneyless societies across the globe. And that is what an Ubuntu society is. So that could give you a working model as to maybe something to set your sights on as to aligning with that reality. You're first going to set your sights on that. You're going to imagine how you would feel to live in that society. And as you're imagining how you would feel to live in that society, your heart will begin to emit an electromagnetic frequency or a signature that will be sent out into the collective and seek to find that reality so that you can align with it, because that is where you're putting your attention on. Therefore, that is what you desire. Therefore, that is what you have to have. That's how this works. So as that is sent out and as it is being pulled more and more to you, the second step you begin to implement right away is acting as if you are already where you want to be. Now, this is where we all get hung up, because when we act as if we already are where we want to be, that means everything about us has to change. Everything about us has to shift, most likely, if you're looking to exist in a higher state of consciousness, into a higher realm or a higher level of reality. And so you first are going to have to begin to act differently. You would have to act as if you were already there, which means that if in your ideal world you have peace and contentment and you can speak to one another with authenticity, then you would have to begin doing that now. You would have to begin to talk to people with respect and authenticity now. And as somebody gives you attitude, you would have to smile and move on about your day now. Because what's happening is we're witnessing atrocities. We're seeing the news and we're reading the threads on social media, and we're seeing all the ugly and all the hate and all the oppression. And it reiterates to us, we're not there yet. We have so far to go. We're never going to make it. This whole place is horrible. And as we are thinking those thoughts, we keep aligning with a timeline that will give us the results of that. And at some point, we have to stop and say, in my reality, this is how things are. Those are other people's realities. Now, I can look at those other people's realities and I can help if I feel compelled to help, but I don't need to take their stuff into my reality, and I don't need to align with their reality. I can visit theirs, learn from it, and bring back what I've learned to better my reality. An example would be, let's say in your ideal reality, you have created technology that disintegrates trash. So you no longer have the trash problem. It just gets evaporated. But you're walking your dog on an evening stroll and you notice trash on the sidewalk. Well, because in your reality, there isn't trash littered all over the ground. You have to pick it up. It shouldn't be there. Do you see? As you continue to act as if you are already where you want to be, those around you will shift too, should they be choosing, consciously or subconsciously, to align with you with where you're going. And there may be some people who don't align with you, who will drift out of your reality because they are seeking a different experience to teach them. And that's okay too. But once you begin to shift you, and those around you are shifting, those around them are shifting, and those around them are shifting. And you can see that in a very short amount of time, we can make huge process into a more ideal collective. We don't have to save everyone. This isn't about saving anyone, in fact. This is about choosing for you what works for you and helping those who like that to align with it as well. After that, the last step is just to stay there. No matter what your senses around you tell you is happening, no matter what you think you're witnessing on the evening news, you don't engage in it. You learn from it and apply what you like into your reality instead. Instead of two people fighting, you don't take the fighting and the anger into your reality. You take the idea that I don't like the way that makes me feel. What I like instead is the idea of peace. And you take the peace into your reality. And you continue to just move on through. In a very short amount of time, you will find yourself around different people, new ideas, new concepts. And as we progress more and more down that road, more and more ideas will come to us, more and more resources will come to us. We'll fine tune and work out the details as it comes, so don't get too hung up on the hows and the wheres and the what ifs. That's it. Relatively simple, right? If this idea resonates with you, I invite you to check out my book on Amazon.com titled Calling All Dreamers. And if your reality and my reality are a close enough match, maybe I'll see you. Namaste.